Welcome to Morningstar. I'm Holly Black. With me is Margaret Lawson. She's manager of the SVM UK Growth Fund. Hello.
Good morning.
So, a really strange time to be a fund manager. You're focused on the UK. What are some of the key trends you've spotted in the last few months from the COVID-19 crisis?
Well, there's been an acceleration in quite a number of trends, and things that perhaps would have taken 3-5 years, even 10 years to take place have actually happened in a few months. And I would say to you there, we're looking at the rise of technology, the acceleration of technology, and we're doing more working from home, and that's obviously been a great success for many companies, that transition. And I think a lot of the things that we've seen will actually continue going forward. So working from home has been a big thing here. And also the time we're spending in our home, that's obviously risen. The rise of e-commerce, the rise of food delivery, medical consultations at home. So you see quite a number of these trends, and I think that will accelerate. But what it really does say is the businesses that were structurally challenged going into this pandemic, are actually going to be much weaker coming out of that. So if you had a strong model going into this recession pandemic, it's likely to be that you'll be stronger coming out of that.
So one of the things you mentioned there was the rise of e-commerce, and I think the retail sector is really in the spotlight at the moment. Do you think that bricks and mortar retailers can recover?
It's more multifaceted in that. It's more about engaging with your consumer, about value. It's the rise of influencers, social media. It's all about being relevant and being sustainable. So you say bricks and mortar retailers. I think unless you're invested in technology end to end, and it's not just about transactions. It's about making most of the data that you have of your customer and actually being relevant. That's actually much more important than location. Obviously, you're not going to have a need for flagship stores like we once had, and I think it's more an acceleration of a trend rather than a step change. And I think you're going to see increasing penetration, but I think you're also going to see it's not just about retailing conventionally. I think there's a lot more services are going to become more e-commerce delivered, and so there'll be less need for physical space. But there are winners in that. Like logistics is obviously going to remain a winner there. Office spaces as such. Are you going to need office spaces? Are you going to need the shops that we have? Clearly not. But I think what you'll see is an acceleration of poorly located, poor quality retailing space will disappear, and obviously the number of branches companies have that will shrink. I could see it shrinking by about 20%.
And you mentioned there you expect to see much less need for that physical space, whether that's office because people are working from home or flagship stores. What does that do to the outlook for the property sector, do you think?
I think there will still be a need for well-located office space. So I don't really worry about sort of London office space in the longer term. Obviously, in the short term, there'll be pressure on rents, because obviously all chief executives going into this pandemic or coming out the other side are going to be looking to reduce the costs. That's it. And the first thing they're going to say is, do we need these expensive headquarters? And you might get new models coming out, the shared headquarters. One company uses it on a Monday and a Wednesday, another uses it on a Tuesday and a Friday. But you're still going to have a need for relevant buildings.
So with all of that in mind, have you made any changes to the portfolio in the last few months?
Well, I would say to you, we were really, our portfolio really follows quite a number of these themes, even before the pandemic. So, we did have quite an exposure to logistics. We've got quite an exposure to platforms and e-commerce, and that's actually been accelerated. So actually, I've added a few companies. I bought some, technology companies, because I see as companies have to reduce costs, they're going to have to invest in robotics and other things. So I've orientated the portfolio a bit more technology. But really, we've actually had quite a number of these themes. So I would really say this is our time.
Margaret, thank you so much for your time. For Morningstar, I'm Holly Black.